So, let's see. Yeah, I think we'll talk maybe a little bit about chanting this evening, in case you didn't catch that from the title. But before we do that, I just wanted to kind of open it up a little bit and get to know all of you, because sometimes we can just talk through a whole monologue and then that's kind of it. We don't really get to know each other and we don't get to know each other. So we're going to make this a little interactive, and if anyone feels too uncomfortable with that, then you don't have to participate, but it will probably be beneficial if you do. And usually people are like, oh no, I don't want to do that. And then once they start doing it, I'm like, please, will everyone be quiet so we can get back to the talk? So like that. So just wanted to, maybe because there's only a few of us here, maybe you can introduce yourself and explain why you came this evening. So my name is Nitai Dasa, and I came because he asked me, and because I like being here. So I think it's a beautiful place with beautiful people, and yeah, I like that. So what about you?
Okay. Yeah, my name is Zufar. Just I guess the quickest, easiest way I can say it, and this is because I don't really care, but I was recently in a mental hospital actually, and it is very much my belief that Krishna saved my life. I chanted when I was in there. I chanted proudly. I mean, everyone's crazy anyway, I guess. And I just felt like I was moved to come here. So that's my answer. Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing. And yourself?
So my name is Gopal from Panama. I born in a devotee family. My parents and my grandparents are devotees as well. And I came from work, visit to the temple. So nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Gopal. Hey, Gopal.
Let me know if I'm ever in your way. And let me know if I'm in your way at all. Like, yeah.
Prabhu, you'd like to come in?
Oh, me? Yeah. My name is Chimin. I live in New York City. It's been for a very long time. And I come to the temple every week just to gain strength and, courage to deal with the material world.
Beautiful.
And to connect with God and devotees, of course.
Strength and courage, connection with God and devotees. Thank you. Would you like to?
My name is Gopinath. I was also born in a devotee family, and I come from Mumbai, India, and I'm the nephew of Rajulasani Mataji and Adbhut Krishna Prabhu.
Oh, okay.
And I'm here because there's no better place to be in New York than here.
That's a great answer. Thank you.
My name is Kunti Dasi. I'm visiting New York for some time, and I came for the kirtan today to participate, and then Prabhu was like, we have an event downstairs, and I was like, okay.
So you're also here because he invited you.
Yes.
Okay.
That's Arjuna's mother's name, right? Am I right?
Yes.
Yeah.
My name is Kea. My name is Kea.
Kea?
I live in Brooklyn, and I came here because I was here on Friday.
Okay.
Just sit down, and one of my friends came across me. He's like, "Hey, why are you here?" I'm like, "I'm just sitting down and meditating." And then he gave me a card. They have a program on Sundays, and he said, "Come." And then I came here, and there's just noisy everywhere. I'm like, meditation? Has he got some mind? Like, I don't want to be here. And then came out and asked the receptionist, hey, this program. I'm like, oh, it's downstairs, it's about to start. I'm like, okay. And then now I'm here.
So now you're here for the meditation.
Yeah. I mean, I wanted the calm environment.
Okay. All right. Let's see how that works out. Nice to see you again. Thank you for coming. Oh yeah, you just showed up. We're just introducing ourselves and why you came here today.
Hare Krishna everyone, my name is Dosh and I came for you. To listen to a senior devotee.
Okay, that works. Thank you for coming.
Of course.
Hare Krishna, my name is Kana Gopal Das, and I came because I like Jai Nitai Prabhu.
See?
Aww.
We love you so much.
One of the devotees.
Wow, nice. Gosh, Got a few votes of confidence here. Thank you. What is
My
it?
name is Shantanu.
Shantanu.
And I'm from Mumbai as well. I stay in California these days.
Okay.
And this is my wife. We just got married like 2 months ago.
Wow, congratulations.
I hope this isn't your honeymoon. I mean, it's a great place to come for your honeymoon. She might be a little
She
disappointed.
stays in New York. She works here.
Okay.
And I've been going to Chapati, like growing up.
Oh.
So I want to introduce her to ISKCON. And we're here. It's her first time.
Oh, it's your
My
first
name
time.
is Kashish. It's my first time here at
Kashush?
Kashish.
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 Yes.
Okay, Kashish.
First time here at ISKCON and inspired by him. I just want to be more connected to my culture and to God, calm myself because of anxiety issues. So, yeah.
You're most welcome. Thank you for coming. Lovely to have you. Prabhuji?
My name is Ricardo. I am from New Jersey, and I keep coming back to be nourished by the community, nourished by the knowledge, nourished by the bhakti of Krishna, and offer my presence, my serving with my presence.
Beautiful. Thank you for being here
Thank you.
and calm presence. What is your name?
Hello, Mukti. I'm here to deepen my association with Krishna.
Wow, beautiful.
Love it.
That is like Krishnadas Kaviraj, just straight to the point, you know? Nice, thank you. And you're next to last.
My name is Aryan. I'm here to learn more about Krishna.
Okay, that's beautiful. Me too.
Hi, my name is
Last but
Stanley.
definitely not least.
Hi, my name is Stein. I'm from El Salvador, living in Brooklyn. The reason why I'm here because I want to have a deeper connection with Krishna, and I'm really happy being with you guys as devotees as well.
We're happy to have you. And your name again was?
Stanley.
Stanley. Okay, thank you, Stanley. Oh my goodness, someone snuck in. Nice to see you.
Snuck in.
What is your name?
Anjan. Anjan?
Anjan, and why did you come tonight, Anjan? You could be so many places in New York right now, but you decided to be here. Why?
The new Prabhu Nityan will be here.
Yay! That's the same. Me and her and you are on the same
And my
boat.
good friend Shimin will be here. All the community I made here in the last 6 months gives me a lot of peace.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here. Okay, so now we all know why we're here. So I chose a topic about chanting this evening. Who here has ever done any chanting? Of course, if you were just upstairs, we were doing some chanting, and just a few minutes ago, we were also doing some chanting. So we're going to discuss a little bit about chanting. But last time I was here, anyone remembers last time I was here? Only a few of you maybe. I think you might be the only one who was here last time. Come on.
Oh, that was the last time you were here?
That was the last time I was here.
Because I haven't been going, so I just.
Okay.
That's interesting. Okay.
So it's not a coincidence.
Yes.
So last time we spoke about chanting, but everyone was really excited, you'll remember also, to actively participate in chanting. So we're going to do some chanting this evening. Who here has chanting beads? Okay. Who here doesn't have chanting beads? It's okay if you don't. All right. So that's good because I just happened to bring some.
Do I pass them around?
No, not just yet. I brought some here, so we got a whole bunch. So but first we're going to do a little bit of discussion on the topic of chanting, and then we'll discuss a little bit more about what it is specifically. So I chose chant, 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 because there is a famous talk that Srila Prabhupada gave, I think, in Los Angeles, and I believe he was speaking on the prayers of Queen Kunti. And in this talk, he says that he saw a comic strip, and he said in that comic strip there was a lady, and she was saying to her husband, "Chant, chant, chant." Prabhupada says it with a British accent because he went to Scottish Church's school, so he was educated in India, but under British Raj. So he says, "Chant, chant, chant." And he said, and the man was saying, "Can't, can't, can't." So I always found, and all the devotees just crack up and start laughing, and
That's so
Prabhupada
funny.
laughs, and then I think he even says it again. Yeah.
There's another one. Prahladananda Swami says, there's someone, devotee was with their grandparents, somebody they were passing away, and then they said, say Krishna before you die. He said, I can't say so many words.
Yeah, it's the same exact thing. Chant. No, I can't.
That's so funny.
So like that. So we see here, chant, 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 cant, cant, cant. So those of you who have done some chanting before, so some of us, those of you who are new, some of us, we take up the chanting and we try to chant a minimal number of times each day for an amount of time each day. And it's like anything in life, if you set your mind to doing something and you say, as soon as you say, I'm going to do this every day, right? Who here has ever said, I'm never going to do that again? Anyone's ever said, I'm never going to do that again? Yeah? Only a few of us? Okay. This is the first time ever I've asked that question and not everyone in the room raised their hand. So, because I think you're not telling the truth. But anyway, I think you're a little shy to raise your hand. But most all of us have said at some point, I'm never going to do that again. Because we did something, whatever, I put this here, I did that there, I did something I don't want people to know about, whatever it might be. But we say, I'm never going to do that again. And then usually I ask the question, and who did it again? And everybody also raises their hand. So it's the same sort of thing. So usually if we take some sort of a vow, it becomes very difficult. Immediately you get tested. One senior devotee, he was about to take sannyas. Some of you will know sannyas. He was getting presented his danda. And afterwards some young devotees went up to him and said, Jai Maharaj, you did it. And he said, did what? And they said, you made it. You took sannyas. And he said, you didn't see Maya sitting at the fire yajna? And they said, what? Why was Maya at the fire yajna? And he said, yeah, she was rolling up her sleeves saying, oh yeah, Maharaj, taking sannyas, mind, body, words, get ready. So sometimes when we say things like that, the material energy rises up to challenge us, to test us. So therefore we have this experience that sometimes we say we're going to do something, and what we say we're going to do, we're not always able to do it. Anyone has that experience? Okay, at least everyone raised their hand for that. So, anyone knows what this is?
Space shuttle.
Space shuttle.
Okay. Space shuttle.
No,
Okay.
what is that?
You will be surprised. The number of times I've shown that here in America, and people went, what is it?
Yeah, I'm one of those people.
I figured when I used to show it in Europe, I was surprised, but here it's like, okay. So anyway, yeah, this is the space shuttle. So I have a friend, actually I have a friend, his father was, he passed away now, but he was a consultant, and he was working when the NASA created the space shuttle. Okay. Well, he was on the team, and he was in a room, let's say like this, with because NASA usually hires the most brilliant minds in all different areas, right? So they pay big bucks to people to do what needs to be done, right? So a gentleman walked into the room, and he did a whole presentation, and he showed a mock-up of a rocket like this. Now the thing is, you have to remember that before this, there was only rockets that were like, cylindric, and they shot up into the sky and then they went on. So he showed a presentation, and everyone in the room said, it can't be done. It can't be done. And he said, why can't it be done? And then the person who was the expert in aerodynamics said, you must be crazy. You can't push something that shape through, at such speed. And then another person who was in charge of metals, he said the metal, you'd have to bend it in such a way. And then someone said, and the rockets, where are you going to put the rockets and how's it going to work? And then someone else said this, and the fuel and the space. And every single person in the room said,
can't be done.
It can't be done. What do you think he said?
It can't be done.
He said, thank you. And then he said, tell me why it can't be done. And he took a pen and he had a flip chart. And he started writing up all the reasons that they said. He went through the room and he exhausted every single reason. And then he said, now, NASA pays all of you to solve all these problems. So you tell me why or how it can be done. And he went through the first one, and then someone raised their hand and said, well, if you did this, maybe. And then another person said, actually, if you did that, then this could. And then, like dominoes,
Magic.
and all of a sudden they said, by the end of this like 2-hour meeting, my friend was sharing with me, the space shuttle was born. And then within a matter of years, it manifested. So the point being here, and you might be thinking, we came to hear about chanting, now we're hearing about the space shuttle. So the point being that sometimes the mind or other people can throw obstacles in our path and we may think it can't be done. So sometimes we have to look at why I think it can't be done. Does that make a little bit of sense? So what I'm going to get you to do now is speak to someone in the room who isn't your newly married partner or your best mate, your best friend, and just to discuss for one moment why you think you would find difficulty chanting. What might be something that stops you from chanting? Yes, what gets in the way, right? We all know things get in the way of trying to create good habits like that. So even if you're not chanting, you can say what gets in the way of maybe doing something that you want to do, whatever that might be, creating a good habit in some way. Does this make sense?
Yep.
Yeah? Okay, so we're going to give you 3 minutes to connect with someone else in the room, preferably someone you might not know, and then you can quickly introduce yourself and just get into the discussion. Everyone cool with that? Okay, on your marks, get set, go.
Okay, you want to go?
You're from
What's the issue?
What gets in your way?
Chant.
I know I do. What else?
Every day. And because of that, share you do something that's intentional, do something that amplifies your work.
Yeah, it's pretty similar with me. I think it's mostly
Doing proper
distraction.
and environment.
Media, you know, other stuff, and the mind start wondering.
Sounds like
I think if you keep pulling it back, like you don't give up, you get better and better and more stable. What sort of books about the Holy Name very inspiring? There's a book by Shiva Ram. You know that book, right? I'm reading that right now. So I found that because the Holy Name is more than the sound. It is our presence. And I think reading those, I like it very short, you know, like the web by Shiva Ram. It's very short. So I read a little bit, like 3 minutes to get myself into the mood. And then it becomes my meditation. I think ultimately the mind could become
nice to have you
more
here. Please grab a chair at the back. We're just having a little breakout session where everyone's sharing, but we'll come back to our regularly scheduled program in just one minute.
But every day you go through that struggle, right? When you're beginning, it's hard. And over
Okay, if you haven't swapped yet, make sure the other person gets a chance to share what stops them.
The name itself, mantra, it's like a summary that is in the mind.
yeah.
Sound like other rounds like it flows.
Yeah.
You're right. whenever I teach a workshop or lead an affirmation, chanting always helps.
Yeah, even just one page, I feel like a few paragraphs, I do find that the mind is more of anatta. Anatta is kind of like a throb.
Okay, we're going to ask you to wrap up. You got 1 minute left, unless you're already done, and you can just stop.
Then, precision, wow, discipline, shots of life come through. And then you become stronger, not because of your own ability, but because of the and it gets better. And life itself, you have to train yourself to stay calm,
Okay, perfect.
Get straight.
All right, thank you, everyone. So it's just as I suspected. Talking to strangers is scary as heck. But as soon as you start talking, you can't stop. Especially once we talk about ourselves. So we'd like to also welcome Saeed and Andrea. Lovely to have you both with us. I'm not putting you on the spot. Everyone else already introduced themselves. So maybe you could just tell us what made you decide to come here of all places in Brooklyn. How did you wind up in the basement of the Hare Krishna temple on a Sunday?
Well, thank you so much for the question, and thank you for the warm welcome.
Yeah.
So my name is Saeed. I'm from Hudson Valley area, actually born and raised up here outside of West Point, the United States Army Military Academy.
Wow.
But I went to the service and served 30 years in the Army.
Wow.
From 1984
Thank
to
you.
2014, and then returned home. So now I've been out for 10 years, and I'm a recent graduate of Columbia University School of Social Work.
Yay.
So while I was there, I met Julian. Julian, I think his first name, I don't know if his first name is Julian or last name is Julian, but it's Philip.
Philip, oh yeah, Philip.
Julian.
Philip. Oh,
so
Philip.
he invited me.
Okay.
And he sent this message yesterday. And then something told me to go. And then I invited Dr. Andrea Matthews.
Oh, hi everyone. So we're from the same location, and so I came because he got invited and I came.
Thank you both so much for being here. Wonderful. That's lovely. Okay, so we're just to bring you into the picture, what we just did, we just had a little breakout and had everyone talk to someone they didn't know. So if you had been here, we wouldn't have allowed you to speak to each other. So everyone got to know each other a little bit. And we were talking about what gets in the way sometimes, what stops us sometimes from trying to create a good habit or do something that we want to do. You know how sometimes you say, yes, I'm going to do that. And then it's like the whole world conspires against you to get in the way and prevent you from doing it. So we were just talking a little bit like that, so just to bring you into the picture. But specifically, we were talking also around chanting and meditating like that. So anyone would like to share what gets in the way? Well, actually, I have another question first. Who here found that in the course of sharing what gets in the way, did somehow your conversation start to open up about how you could get around it? Did anyone's talk start to go like that? Okay, yeah, ours started to go in that direction also. Okay, so who would like to share something that gets in the way? Yeah.
I think I have an interesting one, and that's because of my specific background. So, I was born into a Muslim family. I was raised Muslim. And Saeed, I'm assuming, yeah.
You got it.
Yeah. So Saeed might be able to understand, but so it's like, it's a very different. It's also the form of Islam is very, like, I guess rigid, you might say, that I grew up with. And the most ironic thing in the world is something that gets in the way of chanting Hare Krishna is fear of God, is fear of Allah, like because the shame and fear that was put into me as a kid, and I have my own beliefs now, but like how they relate to each other.
Gotcha.
But like on my journey, it's like, oh, am I offending this God by praying to this God? That's very, and as a Muslim, that's very ingrained. Like shirk, there's a word for it. There's stories in the Quran about people who got smited because they did stuff like that. They're very anti anything else. At least when my experience. And so it's like the way my mind is going is like there's like God and then there's God and it's like, oh, am I gonna go to hell?
Conflict, yeah. So fear.
Yeah.
Is a big one, but it was very specific.
Very specific type of fear. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you for sharing.
You're welcome.
Someone else would like to share? What gets in the way?
I was just.
Okay, distraction, nice, short and sweet.
Being tired.
Being tired, okay, yes.
Yeah, I think after about 4 rounds, my mind starts to wander.
Drift, the mind wanders, okay, beautiful. Okay, so actually, I'm realizing, and I'm always forgetting, what time did we finish? 5 minutes?
20 more minutes.
20 more minutes. Yeah? Okay, all right. So yeah, often we can boil down what gets in the way to just the mind. And if you don't know what the mind is, it's the little voice that right now is saying, why is this guy talking about the mind? What is the mind? Why am I in this room? Why is that guy cracking his fingernail? You know, why is that's
so
little,
funny.
That little voice that's in your head, it's chitter chattering. Anyone has that? You know, you're walking down trying to catch the bus or get on the subway, and the mind's like, and sometimes you wish, will you just shut up? Anyone's like that? You know, my God. And then the person next to you is like, are you talking to me? Like,
right.
No, I'm talking to myself.
Like you tell this whole
Oh
story.
yeah, I do that all the time. Okay, gotcha. So in the Bhagavad Gita, there's a lot of discussion about the mind, but I always like these first couple of quotes. This one is that one must deliver himself with the help of his mind and not degrade himself. The mind is the friend of the conditioned soul and his enemy as well. So it's a very interesting concept that the mind can be our best friend or it can become our worst enemy. So like that. So for him who has conquered the mind is the best of friends, but for one who has failed to do so, his mind will remain the greatest enemy. So somehow we have to be able to, like sometimes whenever I say this, we have to learn to control the mind. Sometimes people go, oh no, it's mind control. Yeah, it is, because the mind is actually out of control most of the time, you know. And it's compared to, well, there are different comparisons, but if you have like a 2-year-old, I know my mother and grandmother used to always say, terrible twos. So if you have a 2-year-old child, it's like, everything is going in the mouth or getting pulled off the shelf. It's like that sometimes with the mind. As soon as you try to do one thing, it starts louder and louder and louder. So like that. So somehow we have to try to conquer the mind. Now, there are lots of other quotes. I'm going to move on. So I'll read this one. In the stage of perfection called trance or samadhi, one's mind is completely restrained from material mental activities by practice of yoga. This perfection is characterized by one's ability to see the self by the pure mind and to relish and rejoice in the self. In that joyous state, one is situated in boundless transcendental happiness, realized through transcendental senses. So this is quite deep. We could talk for the entire 20 minutes that we have left just on this. But the main point is, this is what is achievable on the other side of getting that mind a little bit subdued. And the way that we can do this is through a process of yoga. And yoga means union. It means to connect. And what are we connecting? We're connecting ourselves as spiritual beings with the higher power, which is the divine, the supreme, the Lord, God, Allah, Jehovah, Yahweh, Krishna, whatever you would like to call the supreme original personality of Godhead. And when we, as a little soul, connect with that big soul, immediately we start to feel connected, safe, sheltered, love, happiness, peace. When we become disconnected, we feel fear, anxiety, stress, distress, concern, alarm, all of these kind of things, because we start to look for something. And what is that thing that we're looking for? We're looking for that connection. And as soon as we get connected, we know it, we feel it, and it's just the most special thing. So what we're going to try to do this evening is to get connected. Okay? Can I keep going?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I'm going to skip this. Think japa. Anyway, this is what I was talking last time. So we have to think about our chanting. So we're going to do a little bit of chanting now. And if you don't have beads, I brought some beads. They're still tied up. Let's see. So, we're going to pass these out. These are the apparatus by which we can do chanting or meditation. There are many different types of meditation. The meditation that we often teach or do is called japa meditation. Japa means where you quietly mumble or slightly chant. Many different faiths do this. Those who are from Catholic background, they
Islam.
chant rosary.
Yeah.
In Islam, you chant 100 names.
Yeah, there's a lot of different things.
Yeah, but we chant the names of Allah. Buddhists, they chant mantras. Sikh also chant. Actually, pretty much everybody is chanting.
That's it. Yeah,
So it's not an uncommon thing to chant the names of God. In fact, let's say it is the most common thing to do, to chant the names of God. So God has many names, and in all religions, religious groups, they have different names for God. Just like we may also have different names. Not to say that we're on the same level as God, but we can relate in this way. I may be called father by my children. I may be called brother by my brother, son from my mother, friend from my friend. And they may have nicknames for me. I may have so many different names. So God also has many different names according to his relationships, according to his qualities, according to his characteristics. According to these, we have different names for God. So we're going to do some chanting, and we're hoping that Nityananda over here with his key is going to be able to depart these. So these are called japa beads or japa mala. Mala means like in a circle, so they go in a circle. And there are 108 beads on a set of japa mala. We're not going to get too much into that, but 108 is a sacred and special number. And that's there also again in many different faith groups. So we chant as in the picture. You hold the beads between your middle finger and your thumb. And you usually keep this finger off of the beads. So, and no, that's not so that you can pick your nose while you're chanting. Someone said that once when I said that. It's actually because this finger is known as the ahankara finger. And ahankara in Sanskrit, it means the false ego finger. Why? Because this is the finger that comes out when we want to exhibit dominance. Isn't it? Don't we like to point? I'm sure none of you have ever pointed at anyone or pushed blame or thrown your finger on. But our spiritual teacher, he says that if you point this one finger at someone else, you have to be very careful because there's 3 fingers pointing back at you. Andrea's on it. So yeah, so we have to be very careful. So we keep that finger off. Yeah, so anyone who needs beads. So beautiful. All right, so I had a whole thing worked out. We're going to do more or less most of it, but because we're a little limited on time because I talk too much, then but this time I've been trying to listen more than I talk. So we're going to hold the beads. Now, first thing I want you to do is find there's a special bead. You'll notice it's different from all the other beads. It's one that is like, has a little bit of a tuft of hair on the top of it. So that bead, we call the Krishna bead or the head bead, and you don't chant on that bead. That's like a marker bead. And that bead, if you go to the other side of that bead, you start on the first, kind of like the first of 108 beads. So there's actually 109 beads if you count the head bead. But because we don't chant on it, we don't generally count it in that sense. So you hold it between your fingers like this, and we're going to chant a mantra. Do you have any mantra cards? Because I didn't put them on mantras.
It's over there.
Oh, my dear Lord.
Oh,
it's
yeah,
on the
it's
wall.
right there.
Okay. The biggest mantra card on the planet. Okay, so we're going to chant this mantra. Now, hopefully everyone can read that, for those of you who aren't. But I'll take us through it. So the mantra is Hare,
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare,
Hare
Krishna,
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 Hare,
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 Rama,
Rama,
Hare,
Hare,
Rama,
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 Hare,
Hare,
Hare.
Hare.
That's the entire mantra. 16 words, and in a very similar pattern. The only thing that changes is the name Krishna and Rama. Hare, just very quickly, Hare is a way of addressing the feminine energy of the divine. So we first approach God through his devotee. There's a saying, love me, love my dog. And if you pass anyone in the street, today I was leaving the apartment and the lady was walking, she had her dog, and her dog ran up to me, and I thought, I'm just trying to go, but the dog looked so cute, and I just said, oh, what a cute dog, and she said, oh, thank you. Immediately she was endeared to me. And I thought, I could probably ask her for $20, and she'd give it to me just because I petted her dog. But, you know, and it broke the ice. It's so love me, love my dog. And not to say that Hare Radharani is a dog, but the principle is that we approach the Lord through that feminine energy of Hare, Hare, Hare Krishna. Krishna is a name for God, which means the all-attractive. So we can understand that if there is a God, which we would say there is, then certainly that God is all-attractive. All attractive qualities reside within that Lord. Rama is the next name, and Rama means the reservoir of all pleasure. And again, if we understand God as the supreme, then of course all pleasure originally comes from him, and he's the reservoir of all that pleasure, and any pleasure that we're trying to seek ultimately has manifested because of him. So we have Hare, Krishna, and Rama. So simply these three words are names for God. And we're going to now ask you to try to sit up straight as possible. We're going to chant a little while. We might not chant an entire round, but we'll chant for about 5 minutes. And I'm going to ask you to sit up straight. We're going to have you take a few deep breaths, just because as soon as you take a deep breath, you're going to feel the frequencies of your mind go down. And everyone knows that deep breaths help us to become calm and relaxed. Then we're going to chant in unison for about 5 minutes with our eyes closed. So I will ask you to close your eyes. Don't worry. We're not going to pick your pockets. We're not going to do anything weird. We're just all going to close our eyes and try to focus inward. We're going to try to cultivate, calm the mind, and focus. If your mind starts to pull you away, what you're focusing on is simply listening to what your mouth is saying. Engage your ears and listening to the sound vibration that is coming out of your mouth, and focus the ears. So as soon as the mind, if it starts to pull you away, say, no, what am I saying? Hare Krishna, and just listen. So the meditation here is to just absorb ourselves in the sound vibration of the holy names. Is that okay? Everyone's good with that? So we can close our eyes. We're going to take 3 deep breaths. Yes, Andrea?
Do I stay on the beat till I say the whole 16?
Thank you. Exactly. You say the whole mantra, which is 16 words, on one bead. Then you pull the beads towards you, and you chant on the next one. Then you pull again, and you keep doing like that. Thank you for that important question. Okay, so ready? We're going to close our eyes. Take a deep breath into your nose. Hold for a second. Exhale through your mouth. And again into the nose. Hold. And out through the mouth. And again in through the nose. Hold. Out through the mouth. We're going to inhale again and start chanting. Inhale to the nose. And on the exhale, we're going to start chanting. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Okay, we can start. Hare Krishna. Take a deep breath into the nose. Hold it out through the mouth. Just allow yourself to be present. Slowly bring yourself back into room awareness, and you can open your eyes. Seems a little more peaceful. Seems a little more calm. Anyone feels a little more connected? Yeah. Anyone has any reflection on that little session? Anything they would like to share?
I guess it's more of a question that, like, because I mean, even when I was listening, like trying to stay present and use my ears to listen to the vibration, you know, it just seems, you know, you live a whole lifetime where your mind doesn't shut up. So I'm just like, do you actually get to a point where it really is quiet and it really is just that? Because for me, my mind is, even when I'm trying to be mindful, my mind is still like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. A similar question was asked by Arjuna in the Bhagavad Gita. And Arjuna, who is a great warrior, he said to Krishna, because Krishna encouraged him to try to control his mind. And he said, I think to control the mind is more difficult than controlling the raging wind. And we know if the wind is raging, like if there's a tornado or a hurricane, there's no idea of controlling that. And Krishna answered Arjuna by saying two things. He said, yes, it is very difficult to control the mind. He said, but by suitable practice and detachment, one can control the mind. And what does that mean? It means that we have to practice. It means it's something that we have to regularly do. And that's, in Sanskrit, the term is sadhana. It means it becomes a regular thing that we do. Just like if you have a house, you have to clean. If you have the top of a counter, if you don't clean for a few days, you'll find some dust, especially if you live in the city. Even after an hour, it's there. So regularly we have to clean, to keep things clean. So in the same way, we have to practice and keep the mind under control. Suitable practice and detachment. It means that we have to start to become a little more detached. Often the mind is raging about things we're worried about, things we're attached to, things we're concerned for or concerned about. So we have to start to kind of understand that the world is going to take its course whether we're in it or not. I remember many, many years ago, I was working for a company and had like a prominent position, and I got this horrendous flu, and I was in bed for like 2 weeks. And the first week I was just like, I gotta get up. There's so many things I gotta do. There's so many things that aren't gonna happen if I don't go to work, if I don't get in. And after the first week, I realized I don't even care anymore. I'm gonna die in this bed.
Oh my God!
That's what I was thinking, but I was thinking, and all I'm thinking about is that stupid job. Is that the most important thing in my life? And it's sort of like sometimes if we don't become naturally detached, then somehow nature forces us to become detached. And at that moment I realized that the world, and it went on, 2.5 weeks later I was back at work and everyone was like, oh, you're back, and everything happened, everything went on. And of course I felt like, but I'm such an important person. But the universe was like, no, you're not. It'll go on without you. So sometimes we have to become a little detached. And someone said, time is one of the obstacles, one of the things that gets in the way. Yes, this was really good, Jai, and I liked it, but I don't have time. When will I fit this in? We only chanted for 6 minutes. When will I fit that into my busy schedule? Lots of people have thought like that when they started chanting. And it's amazing how when you make time for God, for Krishna, He expands time for you. I guarantee it will happen. I know I was saying to my friend, whatever, and he said, just chant 1 round, this terminology, 1 round, it means 1 time around the beads, 108 mantras, just try to do that. And I started with that, and within a few months, I was chanting 16 rounds every day, which took about 2 hours. And I couldn't believe that somehow I had carved out that amount of time. In the beginning, it was, we were talking earlier, subway japa, but I managed to do it. And now it's different. Now 2 hours manifests in my life because I give priority to this, if that makes sense. So if you carve a little bit of space out for Krishna, then Krishna is going to make a huge amount of space for you. Because he's Kala, he is the controller of time. He is time himself, so like that. Anyone else would like to share? And at any moment, Nityananda Prabhu is going to say, Jai,
I just have a question.
when will you shut up? Yes, Stanley, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
I
Stanley.
have a question. Why is 108 beats? Why couldn't be like 90? Like what the number 108 means? The Bhagavad Gita.
108 is significant in many different ways. Just in case you're curious, because we're in America, people outside of America, because for those who came late, I spent 30 years in the UK, in London. So an American baseball has 108 stitches in it.
Oh.
Wow. 108 stitches.
Is that the significance?
That's it.
If you're a baseball fan, if you're a New York Yankees fan,
America.
but also the distance from the Earth to the Sun is a multiple of 108. The distance between the Earth and the Moon is a multiple of 108. In Sanskrit, there are 108 Upanishads. These are holy texts or holy books. There are also 108 principal gopis or servants of Krishna. This number 108 manifests itself again and again. And if you'll notice, I didn't notice this until later, like when I first started, but many movies and movie makers, they know this, and a lot of times you'll see the number on a room or a number on an apartment is 108. So they kind of put that somehow, or a building number and like that. So why exactly, like in numerology, we don't always know why why does gravity work? Because it does. You know, Isaac Newton, he didn't invent gravity, he just discovered it, you know, kind of thing. So it's 108, and that's the way that it is. Yes, sir?
A little thing, just numerology, they analyze 1, 0 is not analyzed, it's not interpreted, but 1 through 9,
yes.
Then master numbers, which is 11, 22, and 33.
Okay.
Only those. So then when you see the frequency and the vibration of 1 through 9, which each one is attending to, then the number 9 is the highest vibration of them all.
Okay.
So, and 1 is the most connected to Earth,
yes.
And the others in between.
Beautiful.
But 9 is the supreme, is before any, it's the source of all. So when you say 1, 0, 8, in numerology, you have to add 1
and 8.
Plus 0 is 1. Plus 8 is
9.
The vibration of the Supreme 9.
Beautiful.
So and you can do malas, like in split in a half, 54, which is 5 plus 4, 9 again. So as long as you are into the frequency of the 9.
Beautiful. Thank you for explaining that. Very nice. We're going to finish now? I can keep going all night.
I would love to. I mean, I love this stuff.
I love it. Yeah. Kind of complete.
Going for the whole night. I don't need to sleep.
Okay. Yeah. So just in conclusion.
I had a question.
Okay.
Once you come to the end of 108,
yes.
Should I go reverse, or should I jump the Krishna beat and again do?
Beautiful question. So so in general what we do is when you come to the end of, remember the term, what was the term when you come to the end of 108? That is a?
Round.
A round, one round. So you go all the way around and you come to the head beat again, to the Krishna beat. What you do is you turn it around and you go back the other way.
Oh.
You don't cross, you don't chant on the bead, and you don't cross over the bead. Yeah? So that bead is a marker, you come to it, you turn around, and you go back. Like that. And different devotees chant in different ways. Some push the beads. Yeah. I've always understood that with each mantra, I'm pulling Krishna closer to me. I'm pulling. So I'm pulling Krishna like that. Not like we should pull Krishna, but we should kind of pull him.
We want to be close then.
We want to be close, yeah. We have to pull it.
I think if we don't have like a separation, like for example, we want to take like a break or something.
A break means?
Like let's say we're chanting, right? I'm halfway, and I want to take a break. How do I know where I'm like stop?
Yeah, so there are different ways. Generally, the idea is if you start, it's good to finish. Yeah, but if not, then you can create a little marker or something sometimes on some, and we use bags. We keep the bags here, and then we have counter beads, also like that, where you count the numbers of rounds. So it's a whole system, like anything if you get into it. So like that. So I have on my beads a little pen. I've had it for like that same pen for like 20 years or something. and I just keep my beads marked there so I can pick up later if I do it. But in general, when I start, I try to complete my 16 rounds from start to finish, if I can.
Is 16 also significant?
I'm not going to get into that one, but it is, in one sense, it is significant numerologically. I'm not sure, but 16 is the number that was prescribed by our teacher as the kind of minimum number to do each day that would help us to be that suitable practice for each day. But for most of us, we have to build up to that. And that starts with chanting just one. So what I would like to encourage, there's something someone said to me when I first started coming, which was they said, if you'd like, you can take the Hare Krishna challenge. And what is the Hare Krishna challenge? That means that you take the beads and you say, I'm going to chant one round each day for 30 days and see if that works for me. So if it doesn't work, you can bring the beads back and we'll happily take them and we'll give you your money back. And that'll be easy because we're not going to take any money from you. So it's a free offer. You know, you don't have to call a toll-free number.
Oh my
You're
God.
you're gonna get your special gift in advance, which is a free meal in a few minutes. So you can, if you like, you can take these beads with you, but only if you agree to take up the Hare Krishna challenge. If you think the Hare Krishna challenge isn't for me, then it's no problem. You can give the beads back and I can pass them on to someone else who will want to utilize them. So that's up to you. And I think that can conclude my spiel.